Hello everyone. Today we are going to go through between two sets, which is a problem on the implementation section of algorithm on HackerRank. So without wasting time, let us have a look on the problem statement. So here's the problem statement. There will be two arrays of integer. Determine all integer that satisfy the following two conditions. The element of the first array are all factor of the integer being considered, and the integer being considered is a factor of all the elements of the second array. To put it in simple words, that means we need to find an integer that can be a multiple of all the elements in the first array, and that can be a divisor of all the elements in the second array. For instance, these are some examples. We have 6. 6 is actually a multiple of all the elements in the first array. That can be verified by 6 is a multiple of 2, 6 is a multiple of 6. 6 is a divisor of all the elements in the second array. That can also be verified. So 6 respect all the two conditions, so it's one of the answer. 12 is also one of the answer. So this is some example of what we need to solve here. Now, how are we going to approach it? How are we going to organize ourselves to find the element that can meet both the two conditions? So the first thing is that we are going to start by searching the element that meet the first condition. The first condition is being a multiple of all the elements in the first array. And in mathematics, we call such an element the low common multiple. So the low common multiple refers to an element, in fact, refer to the lowest element that can be a multiple of two elements. But now if you want to apply it to an array, now the low common multiple is actually the lowest element that can be a multiple of all the elements in the array. So the first thing we need to do is to find the low common multiple. Now, for the second one, we need to find the greatest common divisor. That means the biggest element that can be a divisor of all the elements in our array. Now, and in mathematics, we call it the greatest common divisor. So the greatest common divisor, we need to find the greatest common divisor of the second array. Now, we know that we have our low common multiple and our greatest common divisor. For them to, each of them are meeting either the first or the first one is meeting the first condition and the second one is meeting the second condition. Now, we want element that meet both of them. So we are going to find now the element that are multiple of the low common multiple and that are divisor of our greatest common divisor. And by doing so, we are going to have elements that are meeting both the first and the second condition. So let us implement what we just described as approach and see what it looks like. We are going to start by creating our int main that I just deleted. Okay, so we just return 0. Now, like I just said, we need two functions, the low common divisor and the greatest common divisor and the low common multiple. So I'll just write the two functions here. Greatest common divisor, take two elements, and my approach will just be return. Now I need a condition. If b is equal to 0, then you return a, and then else you just return GCD of b a modulo b. So this is the recursion approach, the recursive approach. There are a lot of approaches of computing the greatest common divisor. Feel free to choose the one you are more comfortable with. Now, for the low common multiple, you also need a and b is for two elements. And I'm going to make use of this function saying that a times b is actually equal to low common multiple of ab. Sorry, low common multiple of ab times greatest common divisor of ab. So this is actually a mathematical formula saying that the product of two integers is actually equal to the product of the low common multiple of those two integers and the greatest common divisor. Knowing that, we just know that the low common divisor will be actually equal to just this divided by this. So this is what I need to return. Okay, so I have my two functions. Now I need to dive into the core logic of our algorithm. So our input, we have two integer denoting the size of the first array and the size of the second array. So I will need to have n and m, and I will need to read them. Now I have them. I need to loop to, I'm starting with the first array. For each of the elements in the first array, I need to read it. I will read it maybe in an integer called e. So I will need an integer e here. And I will first need a low common multiple result. So I will call it L. I need to initiate it as 1 because I'll explain you. So an L will just take low common multiple of L and E. So what I'm doing is that I'm computing the low common multiple of two elements, and I'm taking the result and taking the low common multiple of that result and the second element, and at the end I will have the low common multiple of all the array. Now, why are you starting by 1? Normally, in such case, you need to start with the first element of the array. So if you want, you can put a condition here. If e is equal to 0, then L will take E. If I is equal to 0, then L will take E. If you want, you can do that. It will also work. But since I don't want to add condition here, I'm starting at 1 because I know that the low common multiple of 1 and any element will return the element. So it makes sense to start as 1. So now for the second one, I will also go from 0, E is less than M, and E++. For this, I will say, okay, I'm still reading my A, and I will say G is equal to greatest common divisor of G and E. And the same here, I need to have G. With the same logic here, I'm initiating G as 0 because I know that the greatest common divisor of any element of my choice with 0 will also return me that element. So greatest common divisor. So now there we are. So at this point, we have the element, the lowest element that is satisfying the first condition, and the greatest element that's satisfying the lowest element that's satisfying the second condition. And then now we need to find the multiple of these guys, which is actually a divisor of these guys. So at this point, what we are going to do is that we are going to initiate our result to 0, and we are going to loop through. We're going to say, okay, for int, we are starting from our low common multiple, and the y, the element is actually less or equal to our greatest common divisor. We need to increment our counter by our low common multiple. What does that mean exactly? That means we are starting at our low common multiple, and we are going from multiple, the next multiple of our low common multiple. And we need to find if that C, if G modulo C is actually equal, if it's actually equal to 0, then the element is actually a divisor of our greatest common divisor. And that element, we know that is actually a multiple of all the elements. And if it's a divisor of this, then it will also satisfy the second condition. So at this point, we just say rest plus plus. So we increment our result. And at the end, we just need to return our result or see out our result because we are not using the function. So at this point, this is what I thought about solving this. I hope you enjoy it. Feel free to give me a thumb up if you enjoy it. Feel free to leave me a message in the chat, in the comment section. I will be happy to reply. Let us submit and see what it gives. Let us run first for the sample cases. We have a congratulations. Let us submit. Voila, we have everything going. So this was my approach of solving this. I hope you enjoy it. Feel free to leave me a message. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you on the next video. Ciao.